Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to be talking about how to find the solution to different word problems involving circles. If you haven't already mastered kind of finding the area, the diameter, the radius, and the circumference, those are going to be skills we're going to need. So I would recommend going back, make sure you've done homework 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4 before you start on this one, because we're going to need all of those tools to solve these problems. These are going to be the same kinds of problems, except now instead of it just being told the radius of the circle is X, we're going to have to figure out some of that information from the problem. So what I always recommend you do when you're solving a problem like this is just to read it 2 times to yourself. The first time, just read through it. The second time, highlight keywords. So here we have a problem. Isabella brought a plastic bucket to the beach to build a sandcastle. The rim of the plastic bucket has a diameter of 6 inches. What is the rim's circumference? Now let's read it through again, and this time I'll highlight things that stand out to me as important. Isabella brought a plastic bucket to the beach to build a sand castle. The rim of the plastic bucket has a diameter of 6 inches. This is a measurement. It's important. The diameter is 6 inches. What is the rim's circumference? This is also important. This is the question I'm trying to answer. Right? So we know the diameter is 6 inches, and we know we want to figure out the circumference. So what I'm going to do now is draw a picture to represent the situation. We know that we have a plastic bucket that has the rim, which is the top of the bucket. So we can imagine a bucket here. We're thinking about the rim here. And we know the diameter of that, and we want to figure out the circumference. I'm actually going to imagine we look at this from the top. So then it's just a circle, right? Here is the rim of the bucket. And now let's draw and label the diameter, which is going to be the diameter through the center to the other side. We know that has a diameter of 6 inches. And we're trying to figure out the circumference, which, if you've forgotten, that's the distance all the way around. So we know what the situation is. We know what the problem is. Now we're going to need to go back and use some of our tools, because now this is just a regular circles problem. It's a circle with a diameter of 6 inches. We got to find the circumference. So I would recommend at this point pulling out the notes. I'm going to go to Google Classroom, go to classwork. It might not be right here, but you can see I've already opened it up. Unit 8 notes. Click on this. And then I'm going to jump to slide 6, which has the different formulas. Now I'm going to look for the formula that involves the circumference. Here it is. Circumference, C equals 2 pi r. So that's what we're going to be using. So I'm going to write that down. I would recommend you do these on a piece of paper and write it down there. C equals 2 pi, oops. Right, I'm writing this wrong. C equals 2 times pi times r. Let me double check that. C equals 2 pi r. Perfect. Now, I lost my drawing, so I'm going to draw that again. We've got some circle here. The diameter across the circle is 6 inches. And we want the circumference. That's the distance around the edge of the circle. So all we need to do is substitute into this equation. Now, there is one problem. Right now, we have the diameter, but we want the radius. The radius is what we want to substitute in. So remember, the radius is half of the diameter. The diameter is all the way across. The radius is just half of that. What is half of 6? It's 3, because 3 plus 3 equals 6. So the radius in this case is equal to 3 inches. Now we can go ahead and substitute it. 2 times pi, we'll use 3.14 times the radius, which is 3. C equals 2 times 3.14 times 3. And I will put that into my calculator. And I get that the answer is 18.84, and the unit is inches. So all we had to do to solve this problem was kind of look, read the question carefully, highlight the important information, then just turn it into a regular circles problem. Let's go over another one just to try that again. If you're feeling confident and want to start on this, you don't have to keep watching. Let's see. New problem. Reed calculated that his drink coaster has a circumference of 18.84 inches. What is the coaster's diameter? All right, similar kind of problem. Let's read it again. Reed calculated that his drink coaster has a circumference of 18.84 inches. 18.84, that seems important. Its circumference is 18.84. What is the coaster's diameter? This is what we're trying to figure out, the coaster's diameter. So let's draw that coaster. We know the circumference is equal to 18.84. Remember, that's the distance around the edge of the circle. And we need to figure out the diameter. This is what we're trying to figure out, the distance across the circle. So let's use the equation that we had from before. If you forgot, you can go back to the notes, but I remembered C equals 2 times pi times r. This is one where we're going to have to work backwards because we know that C equals 18.84. We know that this is 2, and for pi we can do 3.14, but we don't know what r is. So we're going to have to work backwards to figure that out. So we'll do 2 times 3.14, that is 6.28. And of course, we're left with r. Draw this down. So remember, two sides, 18.84 equals 6.28 times r. We want to get r all by itself. So we want to divide by 6.28 because right now it's 6.28 times r. We want to do the inverse operation. Divide by 6.28. And again, I'm going to put this into my calculator. But if you do that, you will get that this is equal to 3 equals r. Now, a lot of you might want to say, all right, the answer is 3 inches, but we're not quite there. We have to read the question carefully. This is asking, what is the coaster's diameter? So remember, the radius is half the diameter. The radius is 3. That means it's 3 to the middle and 3 to get to the other side. The diameter is 2 times the radius. So 2 times r equals d. Well, 2 times 3 equals 6. So our answer is going to be 6 inches. And we got it right. So go ahead, try out these problems on your own. If you get stuck, I would recommend making sure you're reading them carefully, drawing pictures, writing down the key information. Some of these are going to require you working backwards. They're similar to some of the challenging ones that were on the last homework assignment. So if you're still getting stuck on those, it might be good to go back and watch the last video because that goes over some more difficult problems. Other than that, of course, you can email me if you have questions. Good luck, and let me know if you need anything. Bye-bye.